Very good morning, dear listeners. I, Dr. Abhishek Jaiswal, welcome you in the Hindu editorial analysis. Today, on 10th of July 2020, we will discuss Sunday magazine. I have selected three important informations that really need our heed for noting down the important events. And among these, the first important news is amid protest, Gotabaya agrees to quit, and the subheading is Protesters Storms Presidential Secretariat, mob said PM Rani Bikram Singh's private residence applies. Before going in the depth of this news, we should understand that world is dealing with the strong crisis, strong economic crisis, strong health crisis, and the public of the country is really in the need of great help. You see, uh, there are few countries who are literally in the robust or in the wretched condition of the economic crisis. Their economic conditions are crashed. So one of the countries among them is Sri Lanka, and before a few days there were outrage in Sri Lanka, and the result was new government. And we have seen that Gotabaya Rajpakse became the president, but now the condition is very worse. People are dissatisfied and they are demanding the resign because they think that the present government is not doing much for the improvement of their country. So you see, on coming 13th July, President Gotabaya Rajpakse will resign. And you see, there is a strong protest, and the protest took a very violent form. And they also set on fire the secretariat officials and also, as we said, the private residential of Prime Minister Bikram Singh. You see, though these things are said, and the Hindu reported that there is no casualties at all, but you see that there is a fresh wave of the protest. And due to the fresh wave of the protest, present government accepted that they are not in condition to improve. So Mr. Bikram Singh wants a government that is all party government. He said, okay, he's agreed to resign and he wants to resign. And the statement is like that. The PM has also told the president that he would resign as soon as such all party government present itself and is ready to take charge at once. Why did he say this? Because he doesn't wish to leave the country in anarchy. He doesn't wish to leave the country alone. So he is willing to see all party or the another party come and take charges. You see, there is strong protest and hate for the president Gotabaya Rajpakse, and there were slogans like Gotabaya, Goga, Gama in their local language, or the Gota Go. The villagers, or you can say the mob, it's so in so panic condition because of few things, like the fuel is no more in country. The country is dealing with 50 billion debt and expecting a favor from IMF. So what will be the condition of the country if it is coming in next government? This cannot be the solution, or this can be the greater solution. It depends on the coming circumstances too, because the present opposition has not the support of all MLAs and they are scattered enough. And the government has tried a lot to console and to suggest the people of the Sri Lanka, and also took the power, took the chances to control them by the force. You see, near about 50 million people are traveling through the feet to the 20 km, and you see they reached by in bulk and masses by running, by leading. So this shows the instability of the crowd itself, and they think that changing the wheel or the helm of the country, changing the power of the country, mitigate their problems that are there, that like the economic crisis. But expert says that this may not be the solution because the condition to which Sri Lanka is dealing with needs a lot of time, and IMF should also play a crucial role to help them so that the economic crisis can come out. So the condition is very thoughtful for Sri Lanka. And the next news that we will deal with is the on the demise of former Prime Minister of Japan, who is assassinated brutally in his talk, in his address to the people, Shinzo Abe. There is a heading that code leaders mourn Shinzo Abe. What is quiet? Why are they mourning, and what was the role of Shinzo Abe in the formation of the Quad? You say in another form, it is that is in fact quadrilateral security dialogue, and Quad is not the acronym. Generally, we can notice that people may ask that what is Quad. So Quad is not an acronym. Now coming uh, in the heart of the news, you see Quad is the membership of the four countries. Quest is the organization of the four countries started by Shinzo Abe in 2007. Four countries, India, Australia, United States, and Japan, were the main functioning body of the Quad, and they were trying to enrich themselves with the army training, with the economical support, and it was such a state that they feel united from four sides. So before going ahead, first we will see that what is Quad and how does it started. The Quadrilateral Security Dialogue (QSD) colloquially or in the vernacular language is known as Quad. Sometimes it is stylized like Quad, and despite not being an acronym, is a strategic security dialogue between Australia, India, Japan, and United States that is maintained by talks between member countries. And the dialogue was initiated in 2007 by Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe with the support of the Australian Prime Minister John Howard and Indian Prime Minister of the present time in 2007 Manmohan Singh and US Vice President Dick Cheney. A dialogue was paralleled by joint military exercise. So it was the joint military exercise of an unprecedented scale, and also it was titled Exercise Malabar. And the diplomatic and military arrangement was widely viewed as a response to increasing Chinese economic and military power, and China was not happy with this alliance. And he also said that this is Asian NATO. So this is Asian NATO, in fact, in the eyes of the China, because the member, the four the member of the four country, were united and they were working together for the development of each other. That's why now there is a deep level of the condolence, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, his Australian counterpart Anthony Albanese, and US President John Biden expressed condolence jointly a day after Mr. Abe was assassinated by former Japanese military professional, and said Mr. Abe played a transformative role in Japan's relationship with each of the three countries. So this is the great loss, in fact, moral loss. This is the loss of a person who was very happy, the person who was very genuine for doing work with other countries. So all the all the three countries are there. They are standing with Japan now. So these three countries, including Japan, is very sad, and they are paying tribute to Shinzo Abe. Now they are remembering his ideas that was open and inclusive and dealing with Indo-Pacific region and help to create the Quad. Now the next news is very interesting because it is going to show that what is the role of exercise in the life, and especially for the growing people. Here you see that exercise keeps your brain young. This particular analysis is by Balasubramaniam, Dr. Balasubramaniam, and he dealt with the concept in two leaves, with two ways. First, he has given the scientific analysis of the brain, and second, that how exercise helps to corporate, helps to manage the scientific organization and creates benefit, and also provides a lot of help to stay energetic in old age. So now coming to the discussion, he is talking about the ability of the brain that starts from the age of the 10. He said that from the age of the 10, the brain's wiring, the scientific reason is the brain's, the term is wiring, or you can say that the muscles or the functions of the brain starts to learn a lot and experience new thing and also capture it. Until the age of the 40, this is very normal. Why this is very normal? Because the blood circulation of the brain is in flow, but after 40 there is less blood flow. That's why the adaptability of the brain is low. People start to forget things. People are not very energetic, who are not active in their physical, and the aging leads to showing down in some functions such as learning and new task. जब when people wants to learn something, जब कुछ नया सीखना चाह रहे हैं तो 40 के बाद में थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम होती है, especially for the people who are not physically active. He has discussed a neuroplasticity term. He said that learning requires the formation of the new connections in the brain, a property called neuroplasticity. You see, the requirement of the new connections, it means the remapping of the brain through the wire. Your brain is dynamic entity and is constantly remodeling. The word remodeling is very important because it always creates new wire and the new experiences, and it remodels itself in response to new exercise, the new experiences. So this is known as neuroplasticity, and the responsible for adopting everything is hippocampus. This is a scientific thing. As I said that the discussion is from scientific to the practical one. So hippocampus is located between the ears. It plays a key role in the formation and consolidation of new and lasting memory. When you learn something, when we adopt something, then the role of the hippocampus is to protect it. And there are some experiences and some experiments. There are two experiments that are discussed. One is on the older mice, and uh, in the older time of the older mice, it is seen the hippocampus is not very active. But and the second is MRI studies on the brain of London taxi driver. uh, in London, there is MRI studies on taxi drivers, and it shows that there is enlarged hippocampus, the nerve or the things that is responsible for the adopting the things and the learning the new things. Why does it happen? Because they travel throughout the city and they remember the map, so their hippocampus is enlarged. And now there is super aging because the hippocampus and neuroplasticity is reduced. So this is the scientific reason. And when these things happens, then there is brain injuries, like there is stroke, there is a lot of problem, and creates a lot of disease. There is debilitating conditions. So when debilitating condition, it means you can say appearance of the disease in the body and making the body weak. You see, regular, he said that regular exercise and sensible dietary choices are key element in keeping your brain young, as is an aptitude for learning or mastering a new language or the musical instrument. So the condition that appears due to the lack of the exercise can be controlled through two things: with the regular exercise or and the planned or the sensible dietary. So debilitating conditions can be avoided. Now the last part is the practical aspect, where he discussed the benefits of exercise. He says that through the exercise one can control his dementia. What is dementia? In fact, it is related to the brain. That is one of the debilitating condition where people is the victim of the Alzheimer. When the people are the victim, when is not able to remember, and there is impaired personality, there is impaired speech problem. When you speak something different and it comes out differently. So these are the things with the aging. But exercise is something that can lower the case of dementia. Exercise also helps to lose the weight, to gain the weight, or to maintain the weight. So these things, three things are the reason that brain is working properly. And what type of the exercise are required with the person who is aging? So there are also the suggestion. There are two types of the exercise with the people who are 40 to 56, like cycling or outdoor exercises can be also prepared, and this helps in the improvement of the memory and maintains it. It also improves the heart fitness or the cardiovascular fitness. And this news was there, that was published in 2013. He is giving the scientific uh, a witness or the scientific proofs. And another important thing, that it also maintains the cognitive ability, the mental ability, the sensibleness when people are uh, in routine or the regular exercise. And with the walking, with the age when people reach after 56, like 65, then WHO also suggests them that jogging is enough, walking is enough, and that walking should be brisk or the active walk till 30 minutes. So overall, the this particular thing that comes to in today's magazine is important, because most of the time people start to lose their exercise, they do not able to maintain it. So there are few things that we can also note for our exam purposes, like what is neuroplasticity, what is hippocampus. So these are the scientific reason. There is also one term that we can see, that dementia, and the word that you see uh, debilitating, so related with the disease that start to happen, or like Alzheimer, one of the disease say. So the article is dealing with especially with the brain, that how to keep your brain young, and exercise is the key to keep your brain young. I'll say today's discussion is very prompt, and we can recap it with the first instance that was happened in Sri Lanka, very disturbing. Second discussion is on Shinzo Abe and the tribute, and all the three countries like India, US, and Australia, they are remembering him for his contribution. And the last but not the least, exercise, the role of the exercise, and to keep your brain healthy and happy. Thank you so much for your time, and keep connected for next update. Stay happy, stay healthy.